All right, welcome aboard. Concept 6, looking at Andrew Jackson. So the overarching concept 6 is discuss the democratic revolution that was to culminate during the presidency of Andrew Jackson. Also discuss his contributions to the development of nationalism and demonstrate his view of the presidency by using Jackson's attack on the Second Bank of the United States. So for concept 6, discuss the development of the Democratic Revolution in the United States from 1776 to 1840, and provide examples of this Democratic Revolution as it expressed itself from one of the following lessons. So find an example within these lessons, lesson 26, lessons 30, lessons 31. This is from your assigned readings dealing with the chapter on Andrew Jackson anyway, or Jacksonian democracy. And what you're going to do is I'm going to go through these bullet points here: idealism, sectionalism, conflict between social economic groups, changed economic and political conditions, and the change in the political system. Go through these lessons and find something that helps explain one of these bullet points here. And again, I'm going to go through these. That's basically the point of this concept here. So I'm going to go through these 1, 2, 3, 4 bullet points here. All right, so the period from 1776 to 1828 is often looked upon by historians as a democratic revolution that was to culminate in Andrew Jackson's presidency and what is known as Jacksonian democracy from 1828 to 1840. So, idealism. Politically, during the 1820s, there was almost universal agreement that the advancement of democratic institutions and idealism of the American Revolution could be used by different socio-economic groups to advance their own special interests. This belief led to wide support for political change within society. Sectionalism. Also, by the mid-1820s, strong disagreement over economic issues had polarized the geographical sections of the United States between South, North, and West. And we'll look more at that in the later unit. Conflict between social and economic interest groups. The conflict between the social and economic interest groups within each section of the country and between the section also led to motivation for political change. During this time, the northern business class found its interests threatened by opposition from farmers, laborers, and southern planters. Changed political and economic conditions. First, the economic. The development of the first industrial revolution led to the change in the political needs of the different social and economic groups, as well as the geographical sections of the country. Many people saw the possibilities of using the powers of government either to resist or promote the Industrial Revolution. For political conditions, changes in political conditions, Western territorial expansion of the United States caused a change in the political needs and geographical sections of the country and accelerated the pressure to expand participation in the government. Western states joined the Union. They adopted constitutions that gave universal suffrage to all white males, regardless of property qualifications. Change in the political system. By 1840, the electorate included more than 90% of the adult white male populations. By the time most states had established direct popular elections of governors, presidential electors, judges, county clerks, mayors, and whatnot. Hence, not only could more people vote, they could vote for more of their government officials. In addition, a new generation of politicians emerged that appealed in different and innovative ways to the newly expanded electorate. This factor was not very consequential in the countryside, where almost everyone had possessed the minimum qualifications for voting, that is, property, right, and color of skin. But in the cities, significant groups of artisan, journeymen, and even laborers were stirred up to political consciousness. This changing character of the electorate was also important because it influenced both the style and the methods of politics. That is, since more people are able to vote, and since more people, different types of people are able to vote, and they're able to vote for more government officials, politicians in turn have got to change up the way they run for office and how they run for office, as Jackson would exemplify. A new generation of political leaders encouraged the common feeling that the popular will of the people could control the choices of public officers and the formation of public policy. So this new generation of political leaders directed popular resentment against the elite caucus system, that is, having a social elite and political group of people who would decide behind closed doors who was to run for office and who was not. They also spread the conviction that the control of politics must be taken from the hands of social elite and open to participation of the common man. As the political movement developed, a popular demand arose for laws to prevent the imprisonment for debt, a national bankruptcy law, and a new tariff and public land policies. For the first time, many Americans thought of politics as having an intimate relation to their welfare, not some sort of abstraction that the elites were busy working on. Adding to the complexity of the situation were the chief means of education and informing of the common person. Free public schools and inexpensive newspapers became widely available during this time. In summary, you've got the voting public becoming much larger, more complex in its composition, meaning there's a larger group of people voting with different ideas and backgrounds, economic backgrounds, social backgrounds. Better informed and educated, more emotionally involved in politics. The style and method of politics changed, and a feeling that politics must be taken from the hands of the social elite and open to participation of the common man. There was a political agreement within the country until the early 1820s. The political complacency that existed up until the 1820s was reflected by the fact that the Republican Party was the only party that existed between the presidential elections of 1816 and 1824, the era of good feelings. By this time, the different social, economic interests started to pull at the different sectional interests of the country. The intense rivalry between the sectional, social, and economic needs of the different interest group finally had its political impact in the presidential election of 1824. This caused the Republican Party to split into two parties, the Democratic Republican Party, formed by Andrew Jackson, and the National Republican Party, headed by John Quincy Adams. The man whose presence was a reflection of the new political environment would be Andrew Jackson, and thus he would win that election overwhelmingly. All right, that concludes 6.1. We'll come up with the next section looking at the election of 1828. See you over there.